Hello. Okay, so it's just a video about the ENT procedure known as septoplasty and SMD, or nasal cauterization. I had this procedure done yesterday. I actually went in at 12:30, had the procedure done at 3:45, and I was awake at 5:10. So I was only out for just like over an hour, and yeah, I had a really positive experience with it. I just thought that I couldn't find any information from other people that had it done, really. Like, yeah, there's a few things online, but I figured that it's always good if there's anything on here, on YouTube. I figured I'd add something. I don't really have that much of a look, to be honest with you. But yeah, I was going to talk about my experience with it. Alright, first things first, I went to, got it done through the NHS. It was like a choose and book thing, and one of the choose and books was a private hospital, which is called Holly House in Chingford, and really good. So, and it's a private hospital, so yeah, I hit that up all day long. So I went in yesterday, which was the 4th of June 2013, and yeah, I'm still high. You have to forgive me. The drugs they gave me was amazing, so I'll explain all that. But yeah, you have to bear with me because, whew, and yeah, and I went in and I had my own private room with 32-inch HD TV. It was banging. I was listening to Kerrang. I had Smells Like Teen Spirit on just before I went down there to the theatre. It was great. And yeah, I drove in and parked in their car park, which was free, which makes a nice change. I couldn't drive home, obviously, so I had to have someone pick my car up for me. That arrived later in the day. Got in at 12:30, as I say. I was made to feel welcomed. I was explained all of the procedures explained to me by the actual ENT consultant who I had met before, who checked my nose out, put the camera up there and everything to see what was wrong. And the reason I needed this procedure was because I've had my nose fractured or bent, also trauma to the nose is what they call it, and for one means or another, and yeah, my septum had deviated, so instead of it being straight, it was at an angle, therefore narrowing one of my nasal passageways. Also, the bones at the top of the nose, I think that's where they are, they could be too big and it could look swollen, and therefore narrowing the passageways even more. So the actual procedure, septoplasty, is where they straighten the septum. They make that straight. They remove some bits in it or whatnot, make it straight, all gravy. SMD, submucous or submucal diapathy or something like. You could Google it. Just type in SMD ENT and some information comes up on Google with that. That's basically where they cauterize the bones at the top to shrink them down to make them smaller, and that's that. Apparently they can grow back, which is a bit annoying because I don't really want to have to keep having this done, but this is my first time I've had it, so we'll see how it goes. Alright, so yeah, go ahead, 12:30, take it down to theatre at about 20 to 4, and obviously I had to walk down with the nurse. She took me down, like the ward sister, I think she's called, took me down, and yeah, she was really good. Really made you at ease. I was surprised at how calm I was. You know how you always get that nervous, that butterfly feeling, and it was a really surreal feeling for me because I'm such a not a defensive person in a way, but if I don't feel as though I can fight, I feel, not in the actual physical sense of knocking someone out, I just mean in general, like if I guess you feel when you feel you feel it's that defenseless feeling, you know, and you think, oh, your natural instincts is to fight or flight when you're in a situation that's quite scary. So or adrenaline gets going, doesn't it? And but I didn't feel none of that. It was really weird. They put me at such ease, and the guys down there just talking about, you know, just the days and stuff. It was cool. And anyway, she took me down to the where the operating theatres are. You don't actually go in. You don't see them because they put you on for general anaesthetic for this. But they led me to the actual anaesthesia rooms or anaesthetic rooms, however you say it, really. And you know, she let me in, and there was a bed in the middle. Obviously, all the medical supplies right outside, which is really weird. And then obviously there's two double doors leading to the actual theatre itself. Now that was really really weird for me, because I just looked at the bed and thought, this is the last room I'm gonna see before I come around, you know, the other side. And I saw the bed, and it's just a really weird thing to do, is to lay yourself on a bed knowing that you're going to be injected and put out. Even though you know it's for a procedure, it's quite, you know, daunting, because they're preparing you for the theatre whilst you're still awake. And yeah, it's a bit scary, but it was really weird how calm I was. And I think the staff there at Holly House, they made it so. You know, they told me before they were going to do everything. They were very, you know, talkative, which was good, you know. And for me anyway, I like that. It puts you at ease, and it lets you know that they know what they're doing and they care about how you're feeling and stuff. And you know, so there's two fellas in there, and they were preparing me. They stuck the old chest pad things on, heart rates or whatever they monitor, and they took my blood pressure. I had to wear a gown. Obviously, I was wearing a hospital gown. Some bullshit underwear, I tell you. Whoever invented those, they'd never worn them. They were like, they looked like this. But see-through, and like, yeah, really, really weird. And you having to wear that, it's quite strange. But they put some. I had to wear stockings on my legs as well, like from the you know, the calf down to your foot, or across your foot, which applies pressure. They're like flight socks. They it's mandatory. You've got to wear them if you get a bit there and that. And they just to help prevent blood clotting, because you're laying about. Even though the procedure's only short, they make you wear them from once you get there to the minute you're discharged, which is a bit. I took mine off, to be honest, afterwards, because I was moving my legs about. But yeah, they're you wear them. And I was laying on the bed when I was going to anaesthetise me, and the good fella put on my legs these massaging pad things. You know, they wrap your leg in it. He goes, they'll massage your legs during the surgery, again to help with circulation, etc., etc., which is quite nice. I didn't feel it, unfortunately, because well, free massage, wouldn't it? But yeah, really strange. Last thing I know, I'm talking to the blokes, and he put the cannula in my back of my hand here. So I don't know if you could see that. Yeah, I've got a lot of sticky residue that just won't come off. Yeah, they put the cannula in, and I remember asking him. I said, "Is the fluid going in?" He goes, "It is." And we was talking about work, where I work anyway. I work for HMV, and me and the other fella, we was talking about that, just having a conversation about it, getting to and from work, etc. And he gave me a mask, and he said, "Here, hold this mask to your face, and it'll make you feel good." And it bloody well did, honestly. At this mask, and I was holding it there over my face, so. Well, you could leave it just hanging on your face, really, he said. And I just started feeling so high. It was amazing. And I said to him, I said to him, like, I feel really high. And he was like, yes, you feel alright, though? And I was like, yeah, I feel amazing. Like, I mean, this is brilliant. And then blank, a black void, nothing. I don't even have any recollection of closing my eyes, and I was very conscious about it because, like my own little experiment, I wanted to see, like, I really wanted to be very aware of what it was like to be put out. I've had it before, but it was so long ago, like general anesthetic, that I can't remember it really. I can, but I just always found that very intriguing. That you experience nothing, that you don't even dream. There's no recollection of any time. There's just nothingness. I imagine that's what it feels like to be dead, and it's quite grim, really. But yeah, I was there, and I thought I'm gonna notice when I closed my eyes here, and I didn't. I'm talking to the bloke. God knows what I was saying. I don't even whether I was continuing our conversation or not. I don't know. Never saw him again, and yeah. Next thing I know, I just start I coughing my guts up. I'm coming around. I was in the recovery room, and there was about 4 nurses in there. One of them was dealing specifically with me. She's like obviously bringing me around, caring for me. Yeah, she was really good as well, and she was saying that I was coughing. Obviously, where they're working on your nose, you're not going to be able to breathe through your nose during the procedure. So obviously the pipe might go down your throat, and it pumps oxygen into your lungs, and it breathes for you, so you don't have to breathe through they paralyze you all. So that's what the general anesthetic does to you, and I come around and just felt so high. It was like I don't do drugs. I drink sometimes, but it wasn't a drunk feeling. It was a high feeling, and it was really good. And I could really see why people get addicted to drugs now. Not that I'm tempted to. I still ain't, but yeah, I can see the appeal to that. It was brilliant, and yeah, first thing I mentioned, I felt no pain. It wasn't a painful procedure, and it still isn't now. And it was today. It's the next day. It's I don't know what the time it is, about 12 o'clock midday now. So 24 hours I went in, and absolutely fine. And the sore throat was just, I was coughing. I imagine there was maybe some blood, mucus in the back of my throat or so I had to clear that. But yeah, a little cough for that as I was coming around, and nurse was there helping me out. So it's all fine, all went okay. Now sometimes they put packing in your nose, which is like a kind of, I guess, like maybe some ribbons, like, I don't know, it might look like this, and goes up your nose, and that is covered in, I think, Vaseline is what I read. They cover it so it doesn't obviously dry to your blood or stick, and obviously then it will be a bit of a pain in the ass to pull out your so it's covered in Vaseline. And what they do, if you bleed a bit during the surgery, like obviously you're going to bleed anyway, and you're going to have nosebleeds for a while afterwards, or nasal drip they call it. But if you're bleeding a bit more than someone else, they'll put like the packing in your nose either side, and then you have to stay in the next day potentially until they take that out. The actual reading online, I was almost convinced that I would have had to have that, because everywhere was saying that that's what they did. But my surgeon, the consultant, he came into the room before, explained the procedure to me, and I said to him, will I need packing up there, do you know? And he said it's a very rare thing that they actually do that now. Whether it's for, it's a higher chance of infection, and they just, bleed out a bit afterwards. There's no worries, is it? So yeah, I didn't have packing, which was nice, because then I could get discharged the same day. So as I come around, I'm in the recovery room, talking to the nurses, and I was asking, I was just curious, and usually I get a little bit weird with hospitals and injections and stuff. I don't like looking at them when they're in me, especially blood tests, which I found this is a really great way to overcome some fears. Actually, this experience, it was really good, because I definitely won't be as nervous in future. And yeah, I had the cannula in the back of my head, and so as I come around, I obviously expected that to be there, and I had a mask on, which was pumping God knows what into me. And yeah, as I come around, the nurse there, she's very friendly, asking me how I was. I said to her, I feel fine. She asked me if I feel sick, which I didn't. I just said sore throat, bit of an headache. She's like, that's fine, we'll get you some painkillers for that later. I was like, alright. And I said to her, just out of interest, what's in my hand, what's going in there? She said it's like a saline salute, like a hydration, you know, because I had it, you can't drink before, and I went in at 12, the last drink I had was 12 afternoon, and midday, and then obviously by the time I come around it was like coming up to 5, and I was in the recovery room till probably about 5:45, so it's a long time without a drink, and yeah, my throat was, I cannot even tell you how dry it was. I've honestly, you think you felt a dry throat, you have not. It was so dry, like I've never felt my tongue that dried out before, man. It was insane, because obviously you can't breathe through your nose because of the surgery that's taken place, so it's normal. It's just, you know, you need to keep your mouth moist, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. And Coke, not the best thing to drink with a sore throat, but fuck it. Okay, so in the recovery room, I come around, all very pleasant. Wheeled back up to me room with my drip attached. As I say, it's a very nice hotel. It wasn't a hotel, a hospital. It was like a hotel. It was it's got 55 rooms, and each of them, like, you know, privately, just your own room. There's no one else in it, and you got your own TV and a cupboard and a shower and an ensuite bathroom. It's brilliant, and you know, honestly, I've stayed in hotels that are worse, and free dinner and that afterwards, so it was nice. It was a really light snack. Anyway, enough of that. They will be back up to the room. All the while asking me how I was and stuff. It's very good. I felt like they cared. They actually connected with you. They understood why you was in there, your own circumstances, you know, and they took them into consideration. It's brilliant. And you don't get that in NHS hospitals, which, you know, is the difference, I guess, between private and NHS. But luckily I got this on the NHS, so it was pretty, it was win-win, really. So I didn't pay a penny for it, because the NHS decided to. I didn't ask, but yeah, they offered. So what else could I say? Alright, so I'm in the room and that, and I sort of said to her, you know, so I've got the saline drip of iron that's rehydrated me. She's like, yeah. He goes, oh, you know, I said to her, what else have I had, you know, like, so I was like, just curious, you know, and usually I get a bit, with needles and stuff, but I was happily looking at it, and you know, I was so high probably, and she said, you've had 4 types of drug put in, the 2 of which I found quite amazing. Obviously one of them was morphene, which is interesting. You see it in films, say with Private Ryan, and they all hit it up with morphine when they get shot, and that's what you'd want, yeah, because it was a absolutely amazing thing. And the other thing was cocaine, which surprised me. You go out for work on your nose and they're putting cocaine up it, but obviously legally, and I was surprised. I said, are you having me on? And she goes, no, I'm not. She goes, that's what they put up there. They put some cocaine up in you. And I was like, okay. I honestly thought she was having me on, so I asked another nurse, and she said the same thing. So I was stoned. I was so high. I was higher than heaven. It was, no wonder I was so spaced. It was a brilliant feeling, you know. As I say, now I know why people do drugs. Not that I ever would, but yeah, mental. And I'll look forward to that if I ever have to have an operation again. God forbid, hopefully I don't. But if I do, I'll ask for cocaine. And yeah, and morphine. And yeah, so other than that, it's the actual procedure itself. So I come back up to my room about 6, and I was discharged at 11. You had to meet certain criteria for them to discharge you, which was just basically being coherent, being able to take care of yourself. They don't want to release you into the world, if you're going to be a danger to yourself or others. So I had to ensure that I could pee, which, I did 3 times. The first one initially, a bit hard to get started, bit hard, and I was a bit worried there. I thought, I'm not going to be able to pee here, but then I did. So, and then three goes later as well, so yeah, brilliant. And they took the cannula out, discharged me about 11 o'clock at night, and I got home about 12. Now, the interesting thing was they gave me a light meal afterwards, okay? Consisted of soup, jelly, and some chicken and salad sandwiches. All of this I had chosen off a menu, by the way. In hindsight, I shouldn't have chosen anything to do with bread, anything to do with chicken. 2 very dry foods. Now, because you're just breathing through your mouth, your throat becomes insanely dry, and it becomes quite hard to produce saliva that works or does anything to moisten your mouth because you're breathing through it so much. You cannot breathe through your mouth, especially if you've got packing in your nose. You cannot breathe through your nose, and it's all bugged up. So you get this really sore throat, and as the procedure is painless. It's the following day now, and I'm still no pain at all. And I'll show you the medication they've given me now, but it's really just pain-free. Pain-free, I would say, on a scale of 1 to 10, the actual pain I've felt so far, 0. Maybe 1 if I twitch my nose. It's a bit sore, but it's no worse than having a nosebleed or having a really bad cold. Obviously, you don't want to touch your nose or play with it too much, because it's got wounds and it needs to heal. So you don't want to risk any infection or anything. But it's going to drip and stuff, and that's just a bit uncomfortable. The worst part is the sore throat. I imagine initially from the tube being down there for the oxygen, but afterwards, obviously, you're breathing through your mouth, so it becomes very dry very quickly, so you have to keep drinking fluids, therefore keep peeing, which is just it's just a pain in the arse, isn't it? But as I say, you'll have to forgive me because I'm still baked here, and I've had like last night maybe an hour's sleep. I could not get to sleep. That was the worst part about it, because you can't breathe through your nose, as I keep saying. I was breathing from my mouth. I'd wake up like 20 minutes later because my throat was so dry. It would wake me up, and I'd need to get a drink, and then I need to piss, and then catch 22. You just couldn't get to sleep. But I was so high on drugs still that I don't care. Living a dream, mate. And so yeah, they discharged me, and they gave me a select cocktails of stuff to have here, which I'll show you, for the aftercare. And I'd say, yes, first I'll go back to the eating thing. My top tips are to drink lots of water. Don't want to drink anything fizzy or anything hot, because it's just going to agitate your sore throat a bit more, obviously. Talking as well, I've rambled on here for so long and it's hurting me, but obviously you can tell this ain't my normal voice, so I don't really sound like this. That's cool, but when you're eating really soft foods and very moist foods, I find. So the soup I had went down a treat, and so did the jelly. That was nice as well. The sandwiches with the chicken in, very dry, as I mentioned. That was a struggle, and it was a little bit scary because I found I was eating, and you really can't breathe through your nose. So I was eating and chewing, and it was really dry in my mouth, and my mouth was dry, and it was hard to swallow. And then I'm trying to breathe through my mouth at the same time, and it was like it's a bit much. So I found that by chewing the chicken and the bread separately, like, you know, disassembling the sandwich and drinking loads of water whilst chewing on it, the water broke it up a lot better because my saliva just weren't out having it. I ain't got enough of it, so it was good, and that's how I ate the sandwich. It was a really nice sandwich as well, and I only ate half of it, and yeah, they just gave you something light afterwards until you feel like you're not feeling sick and the anaesthetic's kind of worn off. Then you can eat what you want. I got home and had eggs and toast and that. So, if you've got packing in, they tend to keep you in the next day, and then they remove that the next day. I didn't have to have it, so they discharged me same night. I wouldn't have minded staying there. It was alright. And yeah, as I mentioned, I've got a nose piercing in. So one of my questions, the surgeon is really good. He saw me before the operation, then he come up after the operation as well to see me recovering, and so did the anaesthetist as well. It was really good, and he asked me how it was, and I asked him how it went and stuff, and if he thought it was successful, which he did. He said, yeah, it's all got to see him in 6 weeks' time, and he's going to have another look just to see if it's healed or if there's any complications or if any more work needs to be done. So that'll be that. What else? I asked him, I said, could I put my nose ring back in? Because I was a bit worried. Obviously, you've got to take your jewellery out for the actual operation. I was a bit worried my nose piercing hole was going to close up, and I just thought I was just a bit pain getting re-pierced, and then they'd have to be very careful about the operation I've just had. So he said, as long as it's sterile, it's clean, it can go straight back in. So any of you with nose piercings worried about that, don't be. You know, just common sense prevails. If it's painful, don't whack it back in. I've got a nose ring which is like a spirally shape, so that it kind of sticks very close to the outer and inner wall of the nose. It's not a straight bar. If you put a straight bar in, it might hit your septum, which you don't really want, but it might not, it depends. But yeah, it's alright. You have to bear with me whilst I'm doing this because I've still got a lot of nasal drip, which is normal. Now, when I come round, they had, they called it a bolster, which was like a sterile gauge, and it looked like, I could show you. Okay, it looked like that, and it was placed there, and it was held on with some tape. It weren't that over your mouth, it was a bit smaller than this, but it's just an example. And that just collected, you know, because your nose does bleed. It's not profusely, just a little bit, and sort of drip and stuff's coming out of it, so that helps collect it, and they change that regularly. Eating and drinking of that in place was a fucking nightmare, honestly. But changed it regularly for me. They also gave me 20 gauges and a little roll of this surgical tape, so I could make my own ones. And I did all night last night. I changed it every sort of couple hours really. And now today I just thought I'd take it off and just dab. And I've been doing that for the past like 7 hours now since I woke up. So it's a bit of an annoyance, and I might attach one later because I just can't be asked to keep dabbing my nose, but it doesn't matter. So, yeah, obviously you don't really want to touch your nose or do anything too, you know, you don't want to blow your nose hard. If you sneeze, try and keep your mouth open and sneeze through your mouth as opposed to your nose. I was worried about that because I thought that's going to surely hurt, but I don't know, I haven't sneezed yet, thank God. And yeah, no, other than that, it's just you don't want to you have clean hands if you're going to touch your nose, clean tissues if you're dabbing, because you don't want to get it infected. If you do, they said it's a course of antibiotics, but you know, you don't really want that whilst you're healing from surgery. So yeah, I've got 2 weeks off work for this to heal, and you got so many drugs you got to take each day, you wouldn't be able to do it if you was at work anyway. So that's that. So anyway, I'll show you what they gave me, medicine-wise. What can we start with? We can start with the painkillers. So they gave me codidromol. I don't know whether that's like a cocodamol type thing or it's quite strong. It's got paracetamol in it and yeah, codeine. So it looks like it's some kind of like cocodamol concoction there with added extras. They just said you could take 8 of these in 24 hours, 2 at a time every 4 hours. Yeah, and it, you know, I don't know, I've been dosing myself for them just for the sore throat. The actual nose thing's not too bad. Doesn't hurt. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say maybe 1. 1 being the lowest. It really doesn't hurt. If you twitch a little bit, yeah, a little bit sore, but I wouldn't say it really hurts. Just feels like a really bad cold, really bugged up. The sore throat's the worst, and the breathing through the mouth, but that's it, just drink a load of water. So that's that. They said those can cause constipation, which will be a barrel of laughs. So they gave me some Fibogel sachets, which these loosen your stools. Apparently it tastes like orange. Isfafgala husk is what I don't know. I don't know if I need one of these, but yeah, that'll be fun and games, wouldn't it? Keep them aside anyway. So yes, then they gave me some isotonic seawater, which you spray up into your nose for like irrigation. You know, well, once in each nostril, you just spray it up there and it cleanses the area, and I sprayed a bit onto my nose ring as well just to keep that clean. So that's what that is. There's nothing really in that. It's just seawater and natural stuff. So they gave me that. I'm gonna do that 3 times a day. I'll say box of tissues, invaluable. You need them. What else? Flixonaze. This is another spray, another nasal spray. So that goes up your nose. You spray it up there and it reduces inflammation, which is a lot of swelling, obviously, which doesn't help the fact that you're bugged up anyway. That and the swelling, obviously, is why you can't breathe properly through your nose. They gave me also Septoplasty nasal cream. This is an antibiotic nasal cream. You pop some cream up each nostril, not too far up. It's an antiseptic, you know, it keeps things clean, an antibiotic. So yeah, that's important. That's done. There's some of the gauges, that the compressions they gave me, which I can make my own bolsters up. They also gave me some extra strength ibuprofen, which is strong shit, and it mainly you can take that with the painkillers. That helps to reduce inflammation and swelling. That brings that down, so that's good. And Gaviscon, that's my own thing I've added, because eating through your mouth, obviously you eat through your mouth and breathing through your mouth at the same time, you get a lot of trapped air and stuff in your stomach, and you can get, I've found that, so that helps out. And yeah, box of tissues, because honestly, whee, you need that. The way my nose is coming out, bro, it's just like having a really runny nose. It's horrible, but it doesn't hurt. It's cool. It feels a bit swollen, but yeah, my face is a bit swollen, but they say it should change the shape of your nose. In rare circumstances, you get a little dip in the nose. But yeah, they said that you know, most people don't really have. Well, she said most people might get swelling, might get a little bit of bruising. I haven't, but whether I'm just lucky or I'm not usually, so I wouldn't have thought that was the case. So yeah, it's not too bad. Obviously, just a husk voice because of the sore throat and the dryness of the throat. So yeah, I think that's all I can say on it really. It's I had a very pleasant experience at Holly House. It's not just that hospital. about the procedure in general, there is honestly nothing to fret about. And I was a bit worried at first because, like, it's a hospital, it's an operation, everyone gets a bit nervous unless you've had it done a million times before, which I obviously haven't. So this is the first time I've had this done, hopefully the last. But if I had to have it done again, I wouldn't fret about it. I really wouldn't, because absolutely pain free. And yeah, it's really pain free. I'm very surprised. I thought it just feels like I got a really bugged up cold. So yeah, that's that really. But yeah, I thought I'd just make this video because just in case there's anyone else out there wants to search it and hear from someone else that's had it done that tells us it is really. I haven't added anything or taken away from anything. It really is straightforward day thing. Maybe an extra day if you've got packing up there, but that's nothing to worry about. And then you're out, and it's just a matter of putting up with a bugged up nose and sore throat, which is nothing really. So yeah, good. If I had to have it done again, yeah, I wouldn't be fussed about it. I'd go and have it done without all the worry that I had this time, because obviously I didn't know what it was going to be like. But it's very, very good. So just waiting for it to heal now, and then see how it goes. Got to go back and see the consultant in 6 weeks. See what he says. But yeah, it's rambled on a bit. But yeah, so you have to forgive me because I'm still off my tits on these drugs that they've pumped into me. So you have to. Yeah, that sounds cool, but yeah, all good. As I say, I usually just upload guitar videos of me playing guitar, or I'm not very good, but or doing how-to videos. Because of one thing or another, I haven't done any for about a month now. But I'm working on a couple of songs by CKY. It's bad, and one of them's called To All of You, and the other one is called Shock and Terror. And I'm going to get those learned and uploaded, and then I'm going to do how-to guitar lessons for them as well, because there's not many out there for those songs. So that'll be good. And keep your eyes open. They'll be up some point this month. So peace.